Great peace. Great peace. As you're turning in the scriptures to 1 Peter chapter 5, I wrote myself a note. I said, I'm shocked and sobered by the shots that the saints have surrendered to. Again, I'm shocked and sobered by the shots that the saints have surrendered to. There's a price to pay on that day for walking into this clay. Fight the good fight of faith. Stay in the grace for the race to see him face to face. The day is coming, saints, where we're going to be looking at the Lord face to face, and he's going to ask us, what did we do in these bodies? What did we allow in here? Did you allow the wisdom of man inside to try to preserve your life when I was your life? Did you denigrate my presence? Did you compromise faith in me and died anyway? You know, the scripture says on that day that our works are going to be tried by fire to determine what sort they were. Whether they were gold, silver, precious stones, or wood, hay, and stubble. Burns. Hay burns faster, and stubble is already ruined. As I watch the saints, as I listen and observe, and I see futility of activity, that we're doing a whole lot of nothing. Just busy doing nothing. That won't amount to anything but rubbish on that day. Said that all grace looks like this. That we always have all sufficiency in all things for every good work. That's what all grace looks like. Always having all sufficiency in all things for every good work. We always have. And I was thinking about the lack of sobriety in the lives of saints. And I think about how sober or lack of sobriety that I might have in my own mind. Am I really sober? So Peter says here in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, he said, be sober. He says to be calm. That's what the word in the Greek means. To be calm and collected in spirit. He said to be temperate. To be temperate. We're not out of proportion. We're temperate. We're not out of proportion. He says, be dispassionate. Don't be hyped up over anything. Don't be hyped up over anything. When people start hollering, fire, be dispassionate. Don't even run. Be dispassionate. Now, that word sober means a whole lot. Be sober. It means be circumspect. It also means to abstain from wine. For people who don't think drinking wine is a problematic scenario. He said, be discreet. All of these come from the word sober in the Greek. To be calm and collected in spirit, to be temperate, dispassionate, circumspect, to abstain from wine, be discreet. Be sober. He said, be sober. Just 2 words mean all of that. And then he goes on to say, be vigilant. In other words, watch. Give strict attention to. Be cautious. Be active. And he says, to take heed lest through remission and insolence, some destructive calamity suddenly overtake you. I see it going on every day. Every time I see a person take a shot, a vaccine, the devil overtook them. They ruined their lives. From the pulpit to the pew, they've ruined their lives. And they don't even know it. They've compromised their faith, denigrated the Christ on the inside, and have been overcharged. Their hearts have been overcharged. They lost a sense of sobriety. I know you're sitting here thinking about all the people you know that have taken a shot. And they're going to have to keep on taking them. See, seeing, like God told Cain, he said, now I'm going to give you a chance to change your mind about your disposition and your attitude. God was talking to, he gave Cain an opportunity. Before Cain messed up, before Cain killed Abel, God talked to him. And there's a whole lot of Abels in terms of dispositions in the minds of saints. And God's talking to us. He says, now, if you do well, I'll accept your sacrifice. But you can't get blood out of a turnip. And you bringing me turnips. I want a sheep. I want blood sacrifice. You ever wonder why or how or where that term, you can't get blood out of a turnip, came from? That's where it came from, the Bible. And Cain was listening, and then God says, now, if you don't change your disposition and do what I want you to do, then lieth at the door. And so, and then it's like this. In the Hebrew, a lion is out there waiting to get you. A lion is waiting right outside your disposition and will pounce on you and devour you. And Peter was no doubt thinking about that when he wrote us. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Remember, the word may is there, not can. The word may is a permissive term. Can is an ability factor. You see, legally he cannot, but if we give him permission, he will. And the enemy is devouring a lot of God's people. And I was just thinking yesterday, how many people I know that are dead now, physically dead, that should be alive because the devil overtook them. The devil overtook them. I was just thinking about the people that I watch get sick and go down and die. The ones I watch die and couldn't do a thing about it because they missed their day of visitation. They missed their day of visitation. They were warned just like Cain was warned. And Cain got up from that. It wasn't a prayer meeting, but it was a meeting. He left the presence of God. And I just can't live with her. Really? And we know good and well, everything that go on with us, we deserve it and much more. Cain deserved to be on the run for the rest of his life. But then God gave him some mercy. He said, okay, I'm going to put a mark on you so that folk won't mess with you. I'm going to put a mark on you. But see, when that happens, this is a lesson we should really learn. It's a valuable lesson. That when God let up off of somebody like that, somebody else is not going to understand the wherewithal of why God did it. And they're going to take advantage of God having done it for that person. And then they're going to go out and mess up too. And expect God to do the same for them. I say, you got to watch that stuff. Because somebody saw that. Somebody heard about that. And they went out and killed somebody too. Let Mitch, he says, well, God's going to get my back too. He's going to take care of me. But I tell you what, it can start a chain effect, a domino effect, and for generations and generation, it messes up people. And God visits the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the what? Third and fourth generation of those that hate me. So Peter is saying to the saints, be sober and be vigilant. You don't want something to suddenly come upon us to destroy us. Because the devil himself goes around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may or get permission. He comes to us and look for permission. He's already been given permission by God to roam around like a lion and seek who he may devour. And the scripture says, whom resist steadfast in the faith. Now, people who have compromised their faith can't resist the devil, and that's why they're in a compromised situation. And I'm praying, I'm saying, Lord, what can be done for the saints that have compromised their faith in you? I'm not talking about the young believers. I'm talking about these bishops. I'm talking about these pastors. I'm talking about these parents that have children that are watching them and their activities. I'm talking about these 90-year-olds that's going to get a shot. That's who I'm talking about. So is there any hope for them, Lord? He just reminds me, if you don't overcome in chapter 12, you'll be overcome in chapter 13 in the Revelation. And they in chapter 12 overcame him, the devil, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. In other words, if I die with a coronavirus, at least I'll keep my faith, whatever amount it was. And you know what happened? This is a dry run for the mark of the beast. It's just a dry run. I don't think the saints are going to take the mark of the beast, because I think the first train out is going to make the rest of the saints that got left behind, and I'm praying that I'm not left behind. I think the saints that are on the A train, the overcoming first fruit to God, that are taken out of here because they watch and pray always that they will be accounted worthy to escape all these things and to stand before the Son of Man. And because they kept the word of his patience, he says, I'll keep you from the hour of temptation that's going to come upon those that dwell on the earth, because we are enduring and maintaining the word of his patience and not denying his name. We're not compromising his name on the inside of us. He said, I'll keep you. They're going, we are going. in the first catching away. But I was sharing with someone last night on the telephone. I say, those that are left behind, which will be the majority of saints, that are left behind, they're going to be falling like flies with heart attacks. They're going to be stroking out when they see and know for certainty there are saints that have already left here. They disappeared. And all these saints that are left behind, they're going to be falling like flies. Their hearts are going to fail them for fear, for looking upon those things that are coming on the earth, because they have some understanding that it's about to go down. So the best thing to do for the saints today is to make a stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth. Amen. Having on the breastplate of righteousness. Amen. Protect your chest cavity where your heart is. Ooh-wee. And your feet sharp with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Be ready, amen, to give an answer to every man that would ask you of the reason of hope that lies within you with meekness. Just lay it out there. Be ready to give an answer to every man. Not just the folk on the street, but your employer.